Imagine being stranded on an island. No phone, no food supply, no one to call. And then, when the rescue finally arrives, you say, no, this is not fiction. This is the real story of a man who spent 10 years in complete isolation and refused to come back. Why would anyone do that? Let's find out. 10 years alone on a desert island. The man who refused rescue. Number 1. The Shipwreck. In 2008, Thomas Ridley set off on what was supposed to be a 3-month journey across the South Pacific. He was a seasoned traveler, a minimalist, and a man fascinated with the sea. But midway through the journey, disaster struck. A sudden tropical storm flipped his sailboat. Thomas barely escaped with a life raft, a waterproof backpack, and a satellite radio that stopped working 2 days later. He washed up on an uninhabited island known only to a few cartographers. Off the map, off the radar, and far from shipping lanes. Number 2. The first 100 days. The first few weeks were brutal. No fire, no fresh water, constant rain. Thomas survived by collecting rainwater in coconut shells and eating raw shellfish. He slept on wet sand under a pile of palm leaves. Every day he searched the horizon for ships, but none came. Eventually, he accepted a hard truth. No one was looking for him anymore. So he changed his strategy from waiting to surviving. Number 3. Becoming one with the island. As months turned to years, Thomas became a master of his environment. He crafted tools from driftwood and stone. He learned how to fish, track birds, even grow small patches of food using seeds from his backpack. He carved a shelter into the hillside with his bare hands. By year 2, he no longer saw the island as a prison. It had become his home. His rhythm matched the tides. His silence became a kind of peace. And slowly he stopped missing the outside world. Number 4. The Discovery. In late 2018, 10 years after the storm, a university research team spotted smoke rising from the island. At first, they thought it was volcanic activity. What they found instead stunned them. A man, bearded, sun-darkened, wearing clothes stitched from palm fibers, calmly approached them. He introduced himself. "My name is Thomas. I live here." They assumed he would be ecstatic. They assumed he would beg to go home. But he didn't. When they offered him a seat on the boat, he shook his head. "I'm not lost," he said. "I've been found." Number 5. Why he refused rescue. Why did he refuse to leave? In his own words, recorded in a journal left behind. "The island didn't trap me, freed me. For years I chased noise, ambition, and validation. Here, I found silence. And in silence, I found myself." Thomas had no desire to return to the modern world. No interest in smartphones, politics, or a 9-to-5. He found meaning in simplicity, in daily survival, and in the quiet companionship of nature. Number 6. The media storm. When the research team shared the story, it went viral. Modern-day Robinson Crusoe. Man refuses rescue after 10 years alone. Some called him wise. Others called him mentally broken. Psychoanalysts debated his sanity. Survivalists hailed him as a legend. But Thomas never cared about the attention. He remained on the island, sending a note with the researchers. "I'm not missing. Please don't return." Number 7. The psychology of isolation. Experts say long-term isolation usually breaks people. But in rare cases, it heals them, like monks who live in silence, or hermits who find joy in solitude. Thomas's story isn't about being stranded. It's about choosing a life most people fear because in it, he found truth. And that truth, that everything we think we need, might just be noise. Number 8. Legacy and mystery. As of today, no one has seen Thomas Ridley again. The island remains uninhabited, at least by official accounts. Some say he's still there, living in the wind, fishing by moonlight, writing in a journal that may never be found. He left behind no photos, no social media, and no autobiography. Just one message carved into a stone near the beach. "The world was too loud. I chose silence." Would you do what Thomas did? Could you live 10 years alone and refuse to return? Or maybe, just maybe, part of you already wants to. Not to escape life, but to finally find it. Sometimes the greatest adventure is learning to live with yourself. Subscribe for more real stories that go beyond the headlines.